Hello YouTube, my name is Robert Kelly and I am diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome, also known as autism spectrum disorder, among other things. I have problems with certain stimuli which can cause me a lot of problems in social situations. But if you were to come across me in the street, the worst thing you probably notice about me is that I'm just very, very fat. From about 2006 to the end of 2019, I have been receiving disability living allowance from the Department of Work and Pensions. I was awarded the middle care rate and the low mobility rate for what was supposed to be indefinitely. This worked out to about £320 a month and wasn't affected by my income from either my other benefits or anything else. Since its introduction in 2013, I have been receiving regular letters regarding the switchover from disability living allowance to personal independence payment. I thought it would have been easier for me, and probably for them, if they told me that I was going to be receiving PIP in the future instead of DLA. But of course, that wasn't what happened. It wasn't until the middle of 2019 that I got the letter saying my DLA was ending and that I would have to apply for PIP. I, with the help of Worcester's Dial, dutifully send off the application to be assessed. The assessment for personal independence payment requires that you see a health professional who will assess you and figure out if you're eligible. This usually involves a face-to-face conversation with questions about your disability and how it affects your daily life. This can be a problem because, like I said, there is no way you can tell someone with Asperger's apart, or even someone with autism apart for that matter, at first glance. Unless, of course, you have the necessary medical experience to be able to identify someone with Asperger's syndrome or autism or whatever. And the health professionals employed by Capita, one of the companies that the DWP outsources to for these assessments, might not be experienced enough to be able to identify things like Asperger's or autism. This was true of my assessment even before the assessment itself. At first, my assessment was going to be scheduled at Capita's Assessment Centre in Birmingham. This is quite a ways away from my home in Worcester, and it would involve a pretty long train ride to get there. I had quickly rescheduled to have the assessment held in Worcester, partly because it would have helped me save money and time, but also because I knew that it would probably be used against me in the assessment decision. After all, what kind of a disabled person would be able to ride a bus or a train or a taxi? But after I did my assessment closer to home and with an advocate by my side, I got a letter from the DWP regarding their PIP decision. They turned me down. I had scored a big fat 0. I wasn't disabled enough for personal independence payment. I'm not alone in all of this, of course. Many of my friends at Aspie have also struggled with being able to receive PIP. And I also know that many people across the UK, considerably worse off than me and even more badly affected by disabilities than I am, have also been turned down. It stung us because we were missing out on support that we sorely needed for disabilities that could affect us our whole lives because some arbitrarily selected health professional didn't think we deserved it. The second worst thing about this assessment, I had gone through a similar thing for Universal Credit called the Work Capability Assessment. I don't know if it was with the same company as what I did for personal independence payment, but I can tell you that at the end of it all, I was deemed to have a limited capability for work. Maybe if the DWP had known about this, would that have influenced their decision on PIP? Maybe not, but there could have been a chance. The worst thing about all of this? When I had received my letter about Pip, I found out that my DLA was being ended with no replacement. On Christmas Eve, no less. I lost a huge chunk of money that I had been using to support myself to be able to live comfortably. It meant less money for me to be able to spend on food, cleaning supplies, clothes, personal interests, and so on and so forth. I have to routinely ask friends for money so I can pay for enough food to be able to get by until my next universal credit payment. I went through the process of mandatory reconsideration, which for me meant waiting for a month for another letter saying that I was turned down. And then I met with a disability rights advocate who helped me draft an appeal to the courts regarding the PIP decision. This was around January or February 2020. I only got the letter saying the date of my tribunal this October. In fact, it's next week from the time I'm recording this. My friends at Aspie said that I could have been waiting years for my tribunal date. That is thousands of pounds that I'm missing out on, and a lot more months of me struggling to get by and having to ask friends for help and just generally feeling depressed. And for what? So the British government can save another £330 a month at the cost of one more disabled person's life. If there are any other Aspies out there who are struggling to get PIP, tell me your story in the comments below. Tell me if you are successful or not. Do the usual social engagement thing. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon that notifies you about future videos, if any. I'm not going to wait any longer. I want my voice to be heard. I want our voices to be heard.